Welcome to the Boat Babe podcast with your favorite boat babe here, Mary Allison. Here we talk boats, DIY projects, and manifestation tips to living your best vacay life on the water. If anything's going to happen, y'all know it. It's going to happen out there. So let's go explore together. Welcome back to another episode of the Boat Babe podcast with your favorite boat babe, Mary Allison. Oh, today I am absolutely exhausted. Days that just include nonstop sanding absolutely kill my back and my shoulders. The only thing that helps is yoga and just relaxing. But then it's like, oh, the day's over. Great. Okay, so let me just start all over tomorrow. I totally feel how people who work on boats, as their full-time job feel. Like, this is absolutely exhausting. And I think mentally I am exhausted because I've already done this. Like I've shared, I went into this project on Rhiannon, our sailboat, our Endeavor 43. I went into it just thinking it was going to be a bottom job, and to turn it into basically an entire refit on my own has been a really, really big task. And physically, I'm tired. Mentally, I'm pretty worn out, but physically, I'm absolutely exhausted. I took some suggestions and some advice from people in the beginning when I decided to repaint my hull that were not the right suggestions. And so I've sanded this hull so many times because at first we started off thinking, no, I don't need to prime it. The paint looks fine. We'll just 320 it, repair, and paint. But it doesn't really work that way. I've learned, to really do a paint job right, you've got to prime. And using All Craft or All Grip 545 epoxy primer is amazing if you use it. And at first I didn't use it. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I've got to start over. Like, let me resand this, do more repairs that I've missed. And then, I painted and I didn't apply enough paint, like I've said. So today I sanded with 320 the whole starboard side, and tomorrow I'll finish the port side and the stern, and then I'm done. Absolutely done sanding. So on that note, I decided to have this podcast episode just a fun story of when I was a yachtie in the yachting industry as a stewardess. This story is not from the first boat I was on, the big yacht. It was on the second one. And yeah, let's jump into it. So I was a stewardess on yachts for a couple years. As a little bit of a backstory, I had started a yacht detail business or boat detail business in Santa Barbara, along with teaching kids how to sail at the Santa Barbara Sailing Center. And pardon me, I will probably be like coughing, clearing my throat this entire episode because I didn't do the best job wearing a mask today. It was super windy, and it was like there was no dust to be inhaled, but the little bit that I did inhale, just like, it just settles in your chest, and it's just, doesn't feel right. So anyway, I'll try not to joke. Anyway, okay, so I started a yacht detail business in Santa Barbara, and I taught kids how to sail. And then when I graduated college, I drove to Miami, and I got on the largest build of the season, the largest yacht of the season at the Miami Boat Show. That kicked off my CV to where I basically could get on any boat that I wanted. On the first yacht I was in charge of over 7,000 square foot of interior by myself. I I was with a stewardess at first, and her drinking got in the way of any type of professionalism that was on that boat, which there wasn't a whole lot of, honestly. It was a really weird situation. But she ended up being asked to leave, I think when we were living in Nassau on Paradise Island. And so it was just me. And, thankfully I had the help of the crew. I mean, I had a great deckhand. We dated, he helped a whole lot. And, I learned a whole lot. That was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had. So that yacht sold to a guy in Croatia who was Russian oil or Croatian oil, I guess. And I just really didn't have a clue what I was supposed to do if I were to continue to go with him. I've got to drink water or I'm going to lose my voice. I had no clue. I had the option to go with the boat, but I really didn't think. I was like, I'm too young for this. I wasn't going to go with a team of people that I trusted. It was just awkward. I'm like, I just feel like I probably should just stay in the States. I just felt safer staying, kind of closer to the States, closer to the Caribbean, closer to the Bahamas. So I hopped on a 106-foot West ship. So it's like a sister ship to a Westport. And I went with the deckhand that I was dating. So we were together, and the boat was, I don't want to say it was like a disaster, but it wasn't as cared for as anything could be. The situation seemed fine, but when you work, if you've ever gone on a boat and you're you get closer and you're the details are kind of not that great. So one of the things that had gotten to us was the owners of this yacht were super redneck, and that's why I'm not going to tell you their name. But they had made a lot of their money in an invention that the father had created for handicapped. And it was something to add on to vehicles to make maneuvering with a wheelchair more, enjoyable kind of experience versus actually having to have tons of help. And so they did have money to back, this lifestyle, I guess, that they had. And they had also owned a NASCAR team. And so the money was coming in as fast as it was going out, and probably faster going out. So we chartered the boat out some, but mostly we just babysat the boat. I mean, we lived on it in the Bahamas, cruised around, made some fun videos on the boat, when the guests were there. And the captain was super quirky. We would wake up and start working or start cleaning and organizing. And one of the things they don't really tell you on a boat, when you're a stewardess or a deckhand or a mate or even an engineer, when the boat's not really doing anything, you're just babysitting the boat. But you actually have to make yourself look really busy. And so it was frustrating. It was just redundancy. It was just reorganization, re-cleaning. It's fine. I mean, it just, but then you kind of go explore the rest of the day, and, and you meet a lot of locals and stuff. And that's just where my heart is. It was, that part of it I absolutely loved. It was just getting to know the, local community in the Bahamas and in the Caribbean and other yachties, and living the, vacation life all the time on somebody else's dime and getting paid for it. But the captain was constantly gone, to the point where I'm like, does he have a gay lover on the other side of the island? I don't know how we concluded that, but that was our conclusion. And so we also had a full-time chef. So it's not like the first yacht I was on where I was doing everything. We didn't have a chef on the first yacht. It was me and doing everything. So then I hop on this one and I'm like, we're really not doing a whole lot. It's a lot smaller than the first one I was on. The captain's gone all the time, and we have a chef. And so I just remember calling my mom, going, Mom, I'm listening to rap music, serving lobster and Stoli and Diet Cokes. Like, it was just a complete cluster of like, what is the vibe here? And mornings waking up where I'm cleaning piss out of the plants and people just passed out on the floor. Like, it was just a constant debauchery. Like, this family didn't actually need crew. Like, they just needed an open bar and I guess a chef. And they would have been totally fine. Like, they didn't even want to go anywhere. And so as time went on, we had a charter and the charter did not go as planned. We had a diesel leak, I'm guessing from a tank. I have no idea. I never investigated. All I know is that the engine room caught on fire, which was obviously a huge red flag. After that situation was handled right before the charter, when we got on charter, these people were amazing. They happened to be office neighbors with my aunt and uncle out in Malibu. And so like through, the grapevine, I knew them. They were amazing and we had a really great time, but there was a diesel leak somewhere on the boat in the bilge that never got pumped out, which I guess is a good thing, but terrible for us because the entire boat reeked of diesel for half of the charter, to the point where the charter guests hopped off and they had to dry clean all of their clothes. Like every single thing that they brought for their 10-day charter had to be dry cleaned. It was this huge argument. Who's going to pay for the dry cleaning? I mean, it was ridiculous. Like clearly it was our fault, but it was so awkward because the captain was in complete denial, walking around the boat as if there was nothing wrong. And we're like, we're all dying of headaches. The guests are miserable. They couldn't sleep in the bedrooms downstairs. They had to sleep on the floor and on the couch upstairs. And you're just tiptoeing around this situation like there's not a problem. Like, there's enough people around. We know enough people to figure out what's going on. Like, this isn't life or death. But his big quote was, the show must go on, instead of fixing the freaking problem. And so after that, I realized, like, I don't think we were getting paid. I think I got a phone call from my dad and he was like, I don't think you're getting paid. Because he would keep up with my bank accounts. This was like before. I mean, I wouldn't keep up with anything. Like there wasn't like tons of technology and phones to be like, let me just check my bank. And so he called me and was like, I just don't think you're getting paid. Like something doesn't seem right. And so the deckhand and I went to the captain and was like, hey, I don't think we're getting paid. And he was like, oh, do you have child support or something to pay? That was his excuse. And I'm like, okay, mind you, I'm in my early 20s. Maybe I don't have crazy commitments, but yeah, like I owned a condo. Like I had a life. I mean, I'm not just some kid with not a care in the world. It was just such an awkward thing to say to somebody. And so the deckhand and I decided, we were like, look, we have enough of a CV to go hop on another yacht. His dad was a really well-known captain in the industry. We could get another job. This is so uncomfortable. I think we should just leave. I'll book flights. I was like, I'm just going to book the flights. Like, let's just go. And so I was like, let's just pack our things. Like, I swear, if we leave now, guaranteed we're not going to get paid. Like, if we tell him we're going to leave, or even if we give a 2-week notice, like, he's not going to pay us. This guy's freaking weird. He's never even on the boat. Let's head to the next show and hop on another yacht. And so I book flights. We get to the airport. He's at the airport. The captain is there at the airport in Nassau. And I'm just like, seriously, hiding in the corner with my hoodie on, trying not to be seen with all of our belongings. And so we get on the plane. It had to have been a different flight. The captain wasn't from Florida. And so we were flying into Fort Lauderdale or Miami. So it must have been a different flight. We get on this plane. I'm having a panic attack on the way back. Everything just felt totally off. But the deckhand, my boyfriend at the time, we were like, whatever, we're not going to sweat it. We had told our families what we were doing. No big deal. So the next morning, we're sitting there on Las Olas having breakfast at that French cafe. I can't remember what it's called. It's still there, run by French people. Best place ever. Cafe du Monde? No, that's like New Orleans. And actually, it might be it. I can't remember. And so we're sitting there and I get a phone call from the captain, and I can't believe I actually had the balls to answer it, because today I would just avoid confrontation like the plague and give the phone to Kyle. But I could, or I'm trying to keep names out of this, and give the phone to my boyfriend. And I answered it. And our captain goes, "Hey, I know y'all are off the boat. I called Sheffy," because, we called the chef Sheffy. He was like, "I called Sheffy and, I asked him to go check downstairs to see if all y'all's stuff was there, because I just had a feeling y'all had hopped off. And I just want to let you know that I've contacted the CIA and the FBI, and, they're on the lookout for you. And I just wanted to warn you about that." And so my boyfriend and I are like, what the heck is he talking about? Like, it's like 8:30 in the morning. Like, what? And he goes, the captain goes, "I'm missing $10,000 from my bedside table." And I'm like, hold the phone. You can't have $10,000 in your bedside table without declaring it when we got there, and you didn't. So, okay, continue. And he goes, "Well, it's gone. It's missing. I know you took it. So I've called the police. I've called all the yachting agencies. They know that you've stolen this money. You'll never get a job on a yacht again." Click. I'm just like, this is insane. Call my dad. I freaking the F out. Dad's so angry. Like, who does this guy think he is? Like, this guy's insane. And he's not even at the boat. He has absolutely no evidence. He's literally like wherever he flew to. And so we end up heading to the next show. We hop on an 84-foot Lazara together, and we don't hear about this anymore. Like, it just kind of dissipates and goes away. Like, clearly we didn't have a reputation of stealing the money. We didn't need the money. We were young enough to not actually steal 10 grand out of a drawer. I don't even think I had gone into that captain's room. Like, it's not even something I would have thought, like, especially since we had a safe on the boat. So clearly he wasn't using the safe. And so I guess a while later, I'm dock walking at one of the marinas, just hanging out, and there's Sheffy. And I'm with my dad. And I'm like, "Dad, that's Sheffy." He was the chef on the West ship, where supposedly we stole all this money. And Dad and I go up to him and we're like, "Dude, what the heck happened? Like, were we being investigated? Like, what is going on?" And the chef goes, "Oh, so that day, that y'all left and the captain left, I hired a prostitute. And, when she was with me on the boat, her pimp came on the boat and he raided the boat and stole everything. And he went through the captain's drawers and he stole $10,000. And I'm so sorry that I forgot to tell y'all." I was like, "Dude, first of all, you're still working on this yacht that you hired the prostitute and the pimp stole shit. Why are you still on this boat?" Like, not trying to be like rude and a total jerk, but you don't have to stay working on the same boat that you get stuff stolen from. Like, just leave. Like, go around the other side of the world and work on another boat. Like, what is going on? And he goes, "Oh no, I actually wanted to stay because I wanted to pay them back. So I'm doing this for free. They're not paying me. I'm paying the captain back for this." And I don't know if it was, I'm guessing it was the boat money, but I don't know why you would have your boat money. I don't know why you would have 10 grand in cash on your boat, not in a safe. And I really, on this type of a boat, I don't really know why you would have 10 grand in cash anyway. Like, we wouldn't have spent it on anything, clearly, especially maintenance. And so Sheffy decided that he was going to do the right thing and work for free and pay them back this $10,000 that his prostitute's pimp stole from the boat. So there you have it. There is one of my many stories as a yachty. So the next time that you watch Below Deck, realize that's full of crap. That's like drama that's made up. That stuff never, like, we would never be that disrespectful ever on a boat, like, ever. You know, the stuff that goes on, like, maybe there's like relationships behind the scenes, but like, you don't know about it. You know, I had a drunk stewardess threaten to throw me off. Like, she was absolutely batshit crazy. You know, there's stuff like that, but like, there's not just debauchery. You don't damage the vessel. Like, it's nothing like that. You don't have dinghies that just miraculously come untied because somebody doesn't know how to tie a bowline. Like, the stuff that happens is prostitutes, pimps stealing money as crew hops off because they're not getting paid. And Stolian diet and lobsters. So, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Boat Babe podcast. I know it's short and sweet, but after a day on scaffolding, I am absolutely exhausted, but I didn't want to leave you hanging on this freezing Friday. I hope you're hanging out somewhere where it's warmer than here. And if you're not hanging out where it's warmer than here, I hope you are cuddled by a fireplace. I hope the snow is falling and it is just gorgeous outside. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, or I guess the start of your weekend. So give this episode 5 stars. Share it with your friends. You can take a screenshot and repost it on your Instagram or social media, wherever your favorite platform is. Leave me a review if it is positive. Let me know how I'm doing. And also, if you have any suggestions for anything that you would like for me to talk about, if you want to hear more stories about what it was like as a stewardess, if you would like out on the Caribbean and the waters, if you would like to hear more about the drama that happens, any fun stuff, let me know. I've got plenty of stories. If you want to know, I really haven't dove in to what it's like being a female captain in the South. I can dive into something. That episode will be really interesting. That'll be a good one. I'll share that coming up on another day where I'm absolutely exhausted. But yeah, let me know what you would like to hear. I have lots of things to share. So I love you so much. I hope you have an absolute wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And I hope you have fun on the water if you get out there, if you're not freezing like it is here. But coming up next week, I will have updates on the paint job. I hope that we get some spraying done. Supposedly it's going to be raining for the next couple days. We were hoping to be able to spray tomorrow, but the temperatures are going to be below 50. So we're not going to. But I will talk to you soon. I love you so much. Bye.